Please welcome Deborah Henry.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Obama leaders. How are you guys doing today? I love your energy. It's amazing. I'd like to welcome all of you, our Obama leaders who've come from all over the Asia Pacific. Welcome to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I'm super excited to be here with all of you today. Are you guys excited? A little bit more excited today? I think I know why. In just a few moments, these two hot seats right here are going to belong to two Wonder Women who have come all the way to Asia on an important global mission for girls. Michelle Obama, former First Lady of the United States and one of the most influential people today, and a role model to so many here today and around the world. Together with Julia Roberts, one of the most beautiful and iconic faces on big screen, Oscar-winning movie star and advocate for causes close to her heart. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming on stage Michelle Obama and Julia Roberts. Good morning, ladies. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Really doing well.
Yes, hello
Yeah,
everybody.
we're pumped. Are you guys fired up? It's good. I love you too. Truly, truly.
Well, selamat datang and welcome to Malaysia. We're so happy to have you here. And I don't know about all of you here, but I feel like I need to pinch myself because is this really happening? Is this really happening?
Yeah.
It is. And you guys are super lucky to be here, to be part of this. And we're really happy to have both of you here to talk about really important issues that we're going to get into. A couple of days ago, both of you were in Vietnam, where you were on a very special mission for the Girls' Opportunity Alliance, a program of the Obama Foundation that seeks to empower adolescent girls around the world through an education. And you visited a high school just outside of Ho Chi Minh City. Today, I'd like to talk about some of the reflections from this amazing trip, but also your personal sharings as leaders, as path makers in your individual lives. I watched a couple of the videos, and what really stood out to me was Mrs. Obama, you spotlighted a girl named Kim Thuy. And she said, getting her education was like finding a huge light in a dark cave. And if one can just imagine that picture, it's a very powerful one. So would you be able to tell us a little bit more about the goals of Girls' Opportunity Alliance and why telling stories about trips like this really, really matter?
I'd be happy to. We had an amazing trip in Vietnam. It is as amazing as any of our trips around the world, where we really get to focus. We get to focus on young girls and their ambitions. It's an important program because there are 98 million girls worldwide that are not getting the education they deserve. And one of the things I pointed out in the conversation that we had with the girls is that, imagine that you have this fire in you, because what I was saying is that intellect knows no gender. Possibility doesn't know race, it doesn't know religion. Kids are born on this earth with a thing in them, right? And either it gets developed or it gets squandered. And to think that there are 98 million girls out there that were born just like I was, just like Julia was, with a hunger, with a something in them that they know they have, regardless of what they're told, and to have that not be invested in, that's what sinks hopes, that's what stagnates minds, and that's what wastes resources. So to think that that's happening around the world is unspeakable, and it's wasteful, and it's not a smart move for the planet. So that's why we started the Girls' Opportunity Alliance, because what we do know is that as big as the problem is, its solutions are varied, and they are dependent on the culture of the community that they're in, right? So it is difficult for programs like ours to come in from on high and have the kind of proper effect that you can have on the ground if you're not there, living there, understanding the cultural norms and the really understanding the problems that girls are facing. That's why we're funding programs that are operating on the ground, like Room to Read, like Rock, Paper, Scissors, because they're there. You know, they understand what the families are thinking, they understand the fears, the challenges, and they're structuring solutions that are unique to every community. And so our view is, let's not recreate the wheel. Let's not start building something somewhere in the United States thinking that it can help a girl in Vietnam. Let's fund the efforts that are actually working on the ground and expand those efforts, allow them to grow and develop. Yeah.
And I love the truth, the sentence that you say, the future of the world is only as bright as our girls.
It's true. That's true. You know, we were talking, we held the summit in Chicago, and in one of our roundtables, I thought, well, if you are a person of faith of any kind, depending upon what you believe in, you know, wouldn't it be just like that faith to put the answers to all of our problems in the mind of a girl? Wouldn't that be how it would work? Because in order to crack the secret, we would have to actually invest in a girl. You know, wouldn't that be how God would work? You know, we would have to overcome our greatest issues, right, in order to find the answer, right? And that's how I think about this issue. The answer to everything we're struggling with, environment, education, healthcare, what if it's in the mind of that little girl in that video who's riding that bike, you know, and we don't invest in it? That means we miss the answer, and that's how we should be thinking about it. Truth, right, isn't just going to come from the mind of a male. It's going to come from all of us. So if we're underinvesting in half of the population on the planet, I guarantee you we're missing some right answers.
Exactly. We're not going to move forward if half the population aren't included in these dialogues. Julia, and to Mrs. Obama's point, there is something special about being on the ground and seeing it firsthand. And the world talks about the importance of an education, but you were in Vietnam and you saw it, you met these girls. And for what I see and what I've heard, it was a very, very special experience for you. Can you share a little bit about meeting the girls?
Well, first, I'm almost certain that women are over half the population. So let's just invest in that idea. This trip has been life-altering for me. It has brought my beliefs as a mother and as a person of, I think, a spiritual intellect. I feel like we are aligned in that, and to be invited on this trip and have everything that I believe in this way that surrounds me solidify, and it is now deep inside me in a way that is inspiring and shows me that this plight of educating girls isn't this sad, tragic thing. It's this incredible opportunity, and that's what I want to be part of. Being in Vietnam, hearing stories that I was in tears, selfish tears, because this woman is smiling at me, telling me what she's gone through and what she's accomplished. And it is absolutely proof that community, education, love, belief in each other is all it's going to take. And we just have to keep reminding each other of that to move forward.
I was watching some of the videos, and you see this, it comes through even on screen. You see the light shining, radiating off these girls' faces, because someone was there and told them that they have value, that they matter in this world. And I know a lot of the leaders were asking these questions. How does a young girl, or anyone for that matter, how does she tap into her inner self, her inner self-worth, especially when there's so much noise outside? a divorced family, poverty, the day-to-day struggles of life. Sometimes even our culture, our tradition, our families can hold us back. And so with all this noise, external noise, how do we zero in on ourselves? How do we find our own clarity, our own self-worth in these very difficult situations? And also, Mrs. Obama, from your perspective growing up, when did that happen for you as a teenager? And how have you then helped your daughters discover their inner strength?
Well, that's sort of what I was alluding to earlier, that, you know, there are those of us that are born with this sort of thing in us. You know, I write about it in my book because I had to reflect on sort of how did I get here? You know, what were the things in my life that made the difference? And some of it was that I was temperamentally always that kid, always that I'll show you. You know, you give me a challenge, I'll prove you wrong. You know, so people are born with a temperament that, and that's that internal hunger that I'm talking about. You know, and that imagine having a girl like that somewhere in the world who doesn't get to exercise that, where that feeling, that temperament isn't nurtured. For me, it was nurtured, and it started simply with parents who believed in my voice. And I share that with people because my parents weren't wealthy. You know, they were not well connected. They didn't go to college themselves. We were not, we were a poor family. But what they gave me was a sense of belief that my voice, the words that came out of my mouth, were clever and interesting, and they were interested in it. So when you start with a foundation where you're telling a kid very early on that they are valuable, that those words in and of themselves can make a difference. It isn't magic, it isn't money, it isn't resources, and that's what, you know, some families miss. You know, there are families who believe that if I can't give my kids stuff, then I should just be quiet and let them be. Well, no, the truth is that teaching a girl, teaching an individual early on how to use their voice, and that their voice matters, allows them to then be advocates for themselves as they go along. So what I would say to this group about self-confidence and self-advocacy is that we have to be that light in the lives of kids that don't get that. And that's how I think when I interact with a kid, why I spend so much time with kids. You know, I could be in crowds of people on a rope line with people waiting. If I see a kid, I'm gonna take that moment and look them in the eye and make sure that they know that this person and this important person that they see in the world sees them. And it can be something as simple as, I see you, and you're beautiful, and you're smart. Words actually matter when it comes to our children, and we can't be cavalier about it, because those are the things that kids take. So if they respond that well to positive input, imagine what happens to every kid that gets the opposite, you know, that is looked over, that somebody tells them to shut up. It doesn't matter who you are. It's those little things that matter just as much as resources and school fees and bikes and, you know, tuition. It's, you know, it's how you cultivate the soul of a child. And for me, I had that. What about you? How about you?
You guys talk about pinching yourself. It's all I do all day, all evening. You say it so beautifully, and your belief in the girls that we've been with, in me, it does make a difference. It's all the little things. I mean, we do think it's some big sweeping thing, and it's not. It's, you know, God is in the details. It's, you know, looking in the eye when you're addressing someone. It's convincing them. I mean, I left the high school that we were in the other day, and I said to my friends, imagine that they woke up this morning and their life was this thing, and they're going to go to bed tonight, and you've turned that page. Their life is something different now because Michelle Obama flew 9,000 miles to spend the day at their school and sat and colored and talked and took it all in and radiated over these young women in such a way that they will never be the same. And that is what it's about, is entering a room and trying to leave it and its occupants seen and heard and changed for the good.
And also for the leaders in this room, one of the things that we try to think about, especially when we work with kids, is consistency. Because a kid will believe, a day like we had in Vietnam, you can wake up either feeling changed or you can feel like, did that happen? And then if nothing good ever comes after that, it reinforces the disappointment that they feel on an ongoing basis. It's like, yeah, they came, they saw, the cameras were here, the lights were on, but weeks went by and, I never heard from them again. And that we try to avoid when we work with kids. So when I was First Lady, whenever we had a powerful interaction with a group of kids, whether it was Islington, whether it was in Vietnam, whether it was in Cambodia, it couldn't just be that moment. We made sure that we followed up at least 2 or 3 or 4. There's only so much I can do with this big platform. But you guys as leaders, that consistent return to them will be the thing that they remember. It's not the first visit, it's the second and the third and the fifth visit. So, because that's the kind of repetition that you need with children, with your own children. As you're teaching them anything, they take it in. The more you repeat it. Parenting is about repetition. Nope, can't do it. Still can't. Nope. The answer is still no. And probably around the 10th, maybe the 100th time, they'll be like, I guess it's no.
Hopefully it works.
But the same thing is true with the positive reinforcement that you have in the life of a child. And quite frankly, that's true for any issue that you're taking on. It's that once you take it on, then do it. Show up for the communities that you're serving. Because so many of the communities that we all work in have been disappointed. And they're used to that letdown. They're used to that sort of one hit and then we're on. So for the leaders in this room, I just have you think about that as you're doing your work, especially as it involves programmatic activity. What's your plan for consistency so that the message that you're sending are reinforced, and that the people that you're serving actually believe that you mean what you say?
Exactly. It's the power of positive affirmations that I think our world, we tend to give very little weight to it. And our actions and our words need to kind of match up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't say one thing and do the other. And I've been running a nonprofit for many years now, and when I was growing up, and I'm sure for many of us, we people ask us, well, who are your idols and who are your role models in life? And we, every day it's a different person, right? It changes. I think at one point it was you, Julia Roberts.
Thank you.
When I was a little girl, pretty woman and all. I was like,
But maybe not that character, but let's just say me.
I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. The number of friends of mine who said, you have to mention that when you're on stage. I'm like, how am I going to mention that? It's not exactly the right platform. Yeah, it was, and now that I work with so many young boys and girls, I see their daily struggles trying to find role models and champions in their lives, and especially from their communities, especially from marginalized communities. So who are your role models and your champions growing up and even today? And is it possible to have your self-belief if you don't have, do you need others to believe in you in order to believe in yourself, I guess, to have that support system?
Hero worship is in short supply. It's hard to find in this day and age, for a variety of reasons, I think. And even for me as a young person, I was lucky enough to maybe have a teacher that I really looked up to that I can still remember and appreciate. My sister, my mother for how hard she worked and raised kids and never really showed the deep worry and daily strain that now as a parent I know existed for her. And I remember asking her as a new parent, I said, Mom, how did you do this? You had a full-time job, you had a tight budget, her checkbook was kept like calligraphy. It was every little dime, every little everything. And I said, when we were little, how did you manage that? And she could have made herself sound like a magician. And she said, darling, it's called daycare. I dropped you off, and I went to work, and I picked you up. And I am eternally grateful for that answer, because you realize our heroes are all here. We just maybe don't know each other's names. And so that's the thing to remember. That's the thing that I think makes my life special for me, is that I know that walking into every room, that somewhere there is a new hero for me to discover. So in that, it's all in our own hands to radiate that to others, to know that you're safe and you're interesting, and we're going to make a collective here, and we're going to make a deal to make, if not the world a better place, this day will be better, and then those days connect.
And that's where, when you ask the question, is it necessary to have a hero, a role model? And yeah, I think yes, absolutely. The thing we get wrong is who that role model should be. We always think, when we say role model, well, it's got to be somebody famous. It's got to be Julia Roberts or Michelle Obama. But the truth is, as Julia pointed out, the heroes, the role models that have the greatest impact are the people that are surrounding children right there. It's not the president of the United States. It's your mom. It's your neighbor. It's that teacher. And so in that, with that view of what role models are, I think all people do have them if they value who they have in their lives. Everybody has somebody that they can look to. But if we devalue some of that positive input because we don't think that they're important, then we miss out on who our role model is. We're missing the person in our lives that is giving us that encouragement. And we also have a tendency to drown out the positive and just drink up the negative, right? And that's something we have to keep in mind as leaders. I know all of you all are sitting there, out here are struggle with that you can get 100 attaboys, you're doing great, and the one person that says, well, that's stupid, that's the thing you repeat to yourselves over and over and over again. So the thing that I try to encourage people to do is be mindful of the positive energy. When I make statements, I've said this, how do I get through things? I try to shake off the noise. I try to drown out my haters and make sure that I'm paying attention to the positive energy that is coming in every single day. That's a practice that you have to begin because we as humans tend to practice the opposite. It's like, what's the thing I got to fix? What's wrong with me? As opposed to thinking, look at all these things that I can do. Look at my strengths. Look at my assets. Look at what I have to offer. We all have it. But we train ourselves to only focus on the negative. And some people have parents that help them do that, right? It's like you got people in your lives that are always pointing out, well, you got an A-, why didn't you get the A? Well, that's practicing focusing on the negative. And that's what role modeling is. And as Julia also mentioned, that we have to remember, that's why we support mentoring so much. That's why we're supporting all of you, because we believe that you all are mentors in people's lives. You are the answers. As Julia said, you are the answer in somebody's life right now, today. Maybe it's a cousin, maybe it's your own child, maybe it's a neighbor. There's some kid looking at you, and you'll be able to reach them much better than I ever will. And yes, I'm Michelle Obama, but you're in somebody's life every single day. That means everything you do and say to the young people in your lives is shaping them and training them. And that's how I want you all to think, as you build yourself. That's why we're investing in you, because you're the army that we're sending out there to do what Julia said, to put some positive light out there, to be the yes in somebody's life. So now you have to question, you've got that responsibility. Are you handling it? Are you doing what you can? Are you being thoughtful with that mentorship? Are you using it? Or are you waiting to find your mentor? Well, it's your turn now to be that for somebody else. And that's an awesome responsibility to have.
I love that. I have to write it down. Shaping and training, such an important role. And Julia, you were speaking about your mom being your role model, someone who you grew up with. And I want to talk a little bit about women and even and moms. I think society puts many hats on us, and we have to wear many hats. And very often we have this broad brush stroke where you're either a great stay-at-home mom raising the family, or you're this high-flying, super career, ambitious woman. And we fluctuate, I think, for many women, we fluctuate between the two, not really struggling. It's juggling and struggling, and this word balance comes into the picture. And it seems to be a question that women tend to get asked about, how do you find your balance? For some reason, men don't seem to get asked that question about finding balance between work and the home and all that. So is there a different narrative we can talk about when it comes to balance? And in today's day and age, I think all of us, we feel pressures of work, of life, of can we have it all? And what do we find that's best for us versus every other person out there? Both of you can answer.
We were talking about
We were
this.
just talking
Yeah.
about this. I mean, my feeling is always you have to define your terms of what all means. All is different for everyone. The things that this woman does, what she accomplishes in a day is my year agenda. I don't feel bad about that. Right this second. But so it's what you can do, what you want. What is it that fulfills me will be different than what fulfills another mom that lives on my street with her work life and her home life. And so I think we have to constantly remind ourselves that, the all in having it all, doing it all is different for everyone. Whether you be male or female, it's just different. So my version of all, if I put my head down at night and I feel like I circled it today. I mean, I was in the area of my all. Then I feel pretty good. I have a pretty restful night's sleep, and but it's a myth, really. What the thing that is women, can you have it all? Can you have a family? And can you have a career? And can you do all these things? That idea is just to make us crazy, because it's just a headline. It's a highlighted thing to create challenge and, I think, distraction from what we're really doing and accomplishing and what we're very good at. I take a huge amount of pride in my cooking, though her husband might say I take too much pride in my cooking.
That's an inside joke. We won't get into that.
But to find the things that make you feel like you're accomplishing your goals beautifully and joyfully. My mom accomplished a lot of goals and didn't have the space for the joy that my life allows me to have. And I am very aware of that, and it makes me deeply grateful for the joy that I have room and space for every day that she really didn't.
Yeah, we were talking about having it all. it's become an interesting mantra in the minds of particularly women. But it's so stupid. It's a stupid thing to, just to be honest. It's like, no one has it all. No one. And why should we? Because doesn't that sound selfish? Because if you have it all, that means somebody has nothing. And I think that's one of the challenges we have on the planet, is that there's some people think that they should have it all, without understanding that if you have it all, a lot of people won't have anything. So I've learned to think about that in my life's balance. It's like I'm not supposed to have it all. What we fought for as women, I thought, was choice, the ability to make a broader set of choices for our lives. And where we are now is that there's some people that are judgmental about the choices that some women make, and a lot of times we do that to each other as women. Oh, you're staying at home? Okay. That's nice, I guess. Oh, you're working? Well, who's taking care of your kids? We tend to do that to each other. And for me, I had to come to that realization because trying to get it all just drives you crazy. I have never found that I could be the mother that I wanted to be and do everything I wanted with my career. I couldn't do it. Like this trip, for example, when I was First Lady, it seemed like I was doing a lot, but I found that in order to be focused on my work as First Lady and raising 2 kids in the White House, as my staff will tell you, I work 3 days a week. I was like, I am on 3 days. And that means when I'm on, that means I have hair and makeup. So you better get it all done. Because once I take these lashes off, don't even ask me to come downstairs. And I worked upstairs, right?
I think that's something all of us women face.
Because the days that I wasn't working meant that I was on the soccer field, at the school, I was sleeping, I was working out, I was doing something for me. But for those 3 days, as my staff will tell you, we hustle. It's like hair and makeup on. I will work from 6 in the morning until midnight. That was the balance that I found. And I also found that I could get a whole lot done in those 3 days. I got more because I was more organized, more focused. But I learned that well before I got to the White House. I had to start learning that when I had my first kids, when I had my children. And I was still high-powered, blah, 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 whatever it was at the time. And I was driving myself crazy and feeling like I was doing nothing right. And there was no joy. So I think, Julia, what you say is right, is that we all have to define that for ourselves, but keep that all thing out of the mix. What I've learned is that if we take care of our health, life is long, and what you have are chapters. So when I was First Lady, I would never have been able to, I never did a 2-week trip like this, because for me, being gone from my children was just not something I wanted to be for that long. I would never leave Malia, and that's not a judgment. That was something that I felt. I felt that, first of all, they're living in the White House. That's crazy enough as it is. Their dad is somewhere at some G summit. They don't even understand that. And so now where's mom? What is she doing? She's where? In what country? For how long? For me, I was like, so we would do this trip, the same trip to 3 or 4 countries. We'd do that in 4 days. Crazy, right? Well, that was the choice I made. If I'm going to do this, I'll do this in 4 days. We will operate on no sleep, and then we'll get on the plane and go home and see nothing of the countries that we were in, except for the freight elevator and the conference stage, and then you'd go to sleep. So those were the kind of balancing choices that I learned to make.
And talking about choice, one of our leaders from the Solomon Islands, she's talking about cultural and family challenges that sort of hold you back. And I know you did mention this in Vietnam. You said, even if your families don't understand that today, trust me, they will, when you go off to college or start your business. So that's a challenging sort of landscape to overcome, because family, you want to keep them close, you want them to support you, but they don't always.
It's true. And one of the things that Room to Read does with the girls in the program in their life skills classes is to help give them the language to have the conversation with their parents, right? And it's not even assuming that parents, their feelings, their worries or concerns aren't well placed, but it's getting the girls to understand, why is your father worried? Why is he afraid? What is he not articulating, that you can help understand to shape your argument so that they understand what the fears are? Because what you see in Vietnam is the videos show that it's not always safe for a girl to travel for miles and miles. Imagine the parent saying, I have a choice of getting my child educated, have her walking for hours alone by herself because I can't leave my farm and I have 5 other kids here. So she is 8, 7, 10, you pick an age, and I'm just gonna send her to another village? No, education doesn't sound like a good idea to me, thank you. And she can stay here and help with the chores. As a parent, that makes complete sense. So how do you begin to break that down, right? And that's why work on the ground is important, understanding what the cultural issues are on the ground, and they're very different from community to community, from country to country. And some of the fear, some of the lack of investment in girls, it's based on just misguided understandings about women and culture and so on and so forth. That takes generations to change. So you have to begin somewhere, and you have to give the girls on the ground the understanding and the language and the context to be engaged in those conversations with their elders.
On the topic of women, sort of segueing a little bit, I still remember that night when President Obama and yourself, you had your first dance and you were in this gorgeous white dress.
Let me think back.
President Obama and First Lady.
It was a long
and it was a long time.
ago, yeah.
I think you danced at Last,
Yes.
sung by Beyonce.
Yeah.
If you don't already know, you represent, President Obama and yourself represent the millennial hashtag couple goals that exists all over our social media. and I guess the question is, under normal circumstances, relationships are hard for all of us, but under your circumstances, it's especially challenging, I would imagine. How did both of you find that time and that connection with each other?
Sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't. One of the things I talk about, and we talk about relationships, is that they have ebbs and flows. I advise a lot of young people. We have a lot of young people on our staff, and I'm a little direct and straightforward, but I kind of remind them, it's like, marriage is hard. It's just hard. It's worth it, but it is hard. It is 2 individuals raised differently, coming together to build a life together, which means you have to agree and compromise, right? And then if you complete the idea of family and have kids, well, they just mess everything up, because kids are hard, They want what they want, they can't talk, you have to clean them, they're a hassle. It is a hard concept, but we don't talk about it like that. When we talk about marriage and relationships, we talk about hashtag relationship goals. We think about the wedding and the dress and the ceremony and the love and the happily ever after. And so when young people get in a marriage and they experience the truth of it, which is, it's hard, they think it's them. And it's not. It is a hard thing. So Barack and I understood that about each other, and we understood that there could be periods of time where it'd be really hard, especially if you're doing hard things, which all of you are doing. You have picked hard careers, change agents, working in communities. Doesn't pay well, it's stressful, you fail a lot, and no one is gonna pat you on the back. Your parents don't understand what you're doing. You know, you don't have a regular label like I'm a doctor. And it's like, I understand that. What's this thing you're doing? Advocacy? What is that? So it is challenging. And I think for Barack and I, we both learned that we have to work through the challenging times, and we have to be forgiving of each other in those times. And sometimes we have to go out and get help. I wrote about the fact that we worked on getting marriage counseling because I want young people who are in relationships to know that sometimes you can't do this on your own. You need somebody to help you mediate those compromises with each other. And maybe it's not a professional counselor, but relationships require a community to help them get through. And building a marriage and building a family, to me, it's not a solo expedition. It requires a community of friends and people around you and family members and maybe outside help that can help you understand yourself in it, you know? And that's how Barack and I have been successful. We are forgiving of each other. And first of all, let's start with you gotta like the person, right? So that helps. It's like it started that I like him and I respect him and I value him and we have the same shared values. And with that foundation, you just launch into the work and try to find a way to understand that this is the journey. And if you put in the hard work and you get help when you need it, you know, at the end, you've got a 40-year marriage or a 50-year marriage. You know, if anybody has parents who've been married for a long time, and if you really ask them, they'll tell you that there were probably 10 years where they hated each other. But if you're married for 40 years and you hate each other for 10, I'd take those odds. It's like, okay. Like, you're gonna love him for 50 years, but 10 years, you're gonna hate him. You don't wanna push him out of the window. Not a high one, a low one. You don't want him dead, you just want him injured.
That's why we're talking about a hashtag couple goals.
What are you and Danny Motor, what are you guys doing? You guys have a real marriage and a happy family and
I've
all
never
that
wanted
good
to
stuff.
push him out a window, but maybe there's time.
Man.
There's time.
Don't make me look bad.
There's time. Well, I can't. He's taking care of our family right now, so I have to say.
So you
all
wanted
praise,
to push him out a window.
Praise. It's you do have to have reality. The great thing about these computers that we carry around in our pockets is that they create a disconnect of reality. I have the good fortune of every Tuesday, I play mahjong with my girlfriends. Thank you. Yeah.
Did you say mahjong in Asia? We're like, we love you.
Yeah, I'm happy to, we can play later in the lobby or, because I missed my game this week. But when my husband's home and we're playing, we bring food and it's a whole afternoon, drop off the kids at school, we all meet at my house and then we leave and
Are there
everybody
drinks? Is there wine?
picks up. It is not a drinking game. Am I correct?
Oh, man.
It is
okay.
not a drinking game.
I'm still
You've
with
gotta,
you, though.
Got to have clarity.
Oh, you can't. Oh,
And there are many times when Danny will come in and say, you women are so lucky to have each other. Because whether it be that we're just laughing and carrying on and bringing joy to one another, or it's a group therapy. And, this happened to me, and my kid said that, and then this happened. And oh, that happened to me once, and this is what I did, or this is what she did, or this is what. And that community really is what we're talking about here. It's about support and educating and bringing out the best in each other and being there for one another. I was saying things this morning on the phone to my husband that I was taking credit for them, but she had said them to me. And so that's what you do. You take from friends and you apply it to your own life, and that's important. That is the strength of people.
But in order to do that, you have to be willing to share, right? And some people are not good community builders because to be in community with somebody means you have to be vulnerable, So, and what I find is that when you are vulnerable, you you open up other people's vulnerabilities and everybody gets a little bit more. And I think, quite frankly, that's the problem with men sometimes. You guys are trying to be all tough and you don't want to talk about anything. So you're keeping all these thoughts in your minds and you don't know anything. You need help. You need other people to help you think these things through. It's like, don't do this stuff on your own, dude. You're wrong.
Oh my God, I love you. You're saying
starting a
everything I think.
situation here in the front row. We might have to move on.
But that was leading to my next point, actually, and I think you sort of answered it to some degree, because I did this activity with a group of students, and I asked them, during your darkest days, where does your light come from? Because we all have dark days. And we drew a picture of a sun and all these arrows pointing inwards, and they said friends and family and so many other little things that you encounter every day. And if you'd like to share a little bit more about that. On your darkest days, where does our light come from?
Wow. I mean, sometimes it doesn't come, and you just have to believe that it will. That it will come. That, there's that saying, no matter how long the night, the day is sure to come. And you just have to believe in that, no matter what the circumstances are. It's one of the things that I think we were so impressed, so deeply moved in Vietnam, the stories that were being shared with us, the depth of vulnerability, the depth of courage that it takes to share stories like some of the ones that we heard. That is what, it wasn't so much about the triumph, it was about the vulnerability and the belief that one can hold in oneself, that no matter how long the night, the day is sure to come. And for a 6-year-old to believe that in themselves, that was not the 6-year-old I was, or the 10-year-old, or the 26-year-old. So it is so moving and magical, and we can change each other's lives in these incredible ways that are big and can be so tiny. It is the sharing. Sharing is such a valuable thing. And yeah, dudes, just get a mahjong group going or something, because it really, find a running partner, do anything and share.
Well, it's like you have to plan your joy, and we don't teach that, right? We plan work, so that, to answer your question, what happens in the darkest hour, it's true, those times will come, and there isn't a magic answer to that. But if you have been thoughtful in your life and you understand how to bring yourself joy, that's what gets you through it. It doesn't mean that the dark day didn't happen, right? It means that because you've planned joy, joy is coming. But a lot of times we plan work. That's what we're taught to do, but we're not taught to plan our lives and plan our joy. And it takes planning, and it takes practice planning that out. So for all of you all, I say this because I know you all are burning yourselves out doing the work that you do. That's your tendency, and that's also the feeling that this is how you make change, that I have to be miserable in the process because and you can feel it because you also juxtapose your life with the people that you're serving, and you'll always feel blessed. You'll never feel like you should have joy when people are struggling. But for you all, in order to stay vital in this work, you have to plan joy. You will burn yourselves out, and you will be no good to anyone. So I want you all thinking about that. As Julia said, she has thought, unlike our mothers, right? Our mother's generation was like, women didn't have joy. You just, did the work, you woke up and you washed the clothes, and my mom wouldn't even go to the hairdresser. She dyed her hair green once, and it's like, Mom, just go to the hairdresser. It's like, why would I spend money on that? Because it's like, that could bring you joy. And it is important for the people you work with to see you have joy too. So I want you all to think about that. What are you doing this week? When you leave this conference, What are you going to do that is going to make you selfishly smile? What do you, and how are you going to make sure you have that weekly, many times a week? And I dare say it, maybe even every day, you have a little joy in your life. And that's defined differently for all of us. For me, it's my kids. For me, it's anybody's kids. It's like, give me some kids. And I'm, I know, I literally would say that in the White House.
You
there
can
would be
take mine.
times it'd be like, you got to get me with some kids. Because these adults, they don't bring me joy.
Mrs. Obama, could we quickly touch on imposter syndrome? Because I know it's something you have spoken a little bit about. And there was a question from one of our leaders from Indonesia, feeling you're not good enough.
Yeah. How many people, this imposter syndrome, does everybody know what we're talking about when we say imposter? It's like,
I don't really know that term.
Well, particularly for minorities, there's this feeling like because you've been told that you're not good enough, that when you're in a room, you're wondering, well, how did I get here if I've been told I'm not good enough? Women feel it oftentimes because society says you shouldn't be doing that, right? So you feel like an imposter in your own life. You feel like, especially if you've achieved success or you're in rooms that you're not supposed to be in because society has told you that, you think maybe somebody is going to discover that I shouldn't be here, right? That's imposter syndrome. Does that make sense?
It sure does.
So what I tell people is, okay, and all I can do is tell you this because imposter syndrome it's a thing in your head. And, it's just like self-confidence. It's just like, it's like any internal characteristic. Much of it is what you practice telling yourself, and if you've heard that you're not good enough, that's what you're practicing. I'm just here to tell you it is not true. You wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing if you didn't belong here. And I also have the advantage of, and I say this not with any level of arrogance or lack of humility, but I have been at so many powerful tables now, right? I've been at, I've worked in every sector. I've been a lawyer at a big law firm. I've worked at an academic university, been associate dean. I've been the vice president in community development at a hospital. I've been, I run a nonprofit organization. I have worked in the government. I worked with the mayor in the city of Chicago. I worked in the Department of Planning and Development. I was First Lady of the United States of America. I've seen these seats. I've served on corporate boards. I've done it, not all, but I've done a lot. And I'm just telling you, there are a lot of people who don't belong there. And every table, I thought it was me. And after a little bit, I was like, nope, it's him. It's this guy who's sitting here talking.
But they
all
act
the time.
so well. They act like they belong.
That's because they've been told they belong there. They don't. But there's a presumption. That's what I'm saying. It's in his head too. He's like, I belong here. And I'm like, no, you don't. So all I can tell you is that the person sitting next to you was told, based on nothing, that he belongs there. And you were told that you weren't. Both things are wrong, oftentimes. So what I had to learn to do for myself was age helps you with imposter syndrome. So I'm 55 now, and I've seen it. I've been waiting to be as bad as people told me I would be, I've been waiting for when I was going to fall and mess up and fail. I've been waiting because that's what they said. I didn't belong at Princeton, right? I applied to Princeton University. My college counselor said, that's school's too much for you. Well, I applied anyway. I got in. I was waiting for it to be hard and for everybody else to be so much smarter. They weren't. They weren't. They were just told that they belong there. Same thing was true when I applied to Harvard Law School. Maybe I shouldn't be there. Got there. Nope. They're not any smarter than me. So with all the practice of just going into the room that you weren't supposed to be in and being there and occupying those seats and just doing you and knowing that your thoughts are just as relevant, your experiences are just as important, your insight is just as valuable, so that you will share it and use it and practice being there. That's the work you have to do if you feel like an imposter, because he isn't giving up his seat easily. He isn't going to just say, oh, I understand you don't feel like you belong here. Well, let me make room for you and sit you down and tell you the things you need to hear. They're not going to do that for you, because a lot of times they don't even want you there, even when they need you there. So you can't count on somebody else giving you the self-confidence. That's not how we work, you know? And that's why you all are important, because you're not going to do that for some kid in your life. You're going to make sure that they never feel like an imposter. You're going to help them practice a different set of messages so they aren't sitting here wondering where they belong in places where we need them. We need women and diverse minds and people who think differently and have different religious beliefs, because truth and the right answer comes from diversity of experiences. You know, you're needed at those tables. So you can't sit there wondering whether you belong, because you'll waste your time in those seats and you'll hold your voice back and you won't be able to make change because you're waiting for somebody to tell you that you belong. I'm telling you, you belong. Practice a different set of messages.
Thank you for saying that. So important. Julia, you were talking earlier about
I'm sorry, isn't she amazing? Yeah. Just hold on to all this. Just put it in your pocket.
You mentioned earlier about the little computers in your pockets.
Yes.
And you know, I think all of us were still struggling with social media today and how to use it, the hold it has over our lives. But I know you recently joined Instagram, if my investigation serves me well, like 2018 or something? Not too long ago. I think your first post was you had the word love on a sweater, and I thought it was a really relevant, very timely post for a world that's really hurting. But social media is like, it's a double-edged sword, right? There's a lot of bad stuff that comes with it, a lot of good, a lot of bad. Can we talk a little bit about how perhaps you use social media, and with your kids as well, and the role it plays in your life as an actress, as a mom, and also for the leaders here today, because I think we can't talk about leadership if we don't talk about social media.
Well, social media, I mean, I'm an older person, so there are so many things I don't understand. It's true.
We are in this room. We're the older people
We're
in
the
this
elders
room.
here.
When did that happen?
I know. It must have been yesterday. But encouraged by my teenagers, I have 3 children that I really admire them and their points of view. And they were sort of encouraging me towards Instagram. And so my investigation, I want to do something if I can do it the way that I feel comfortable with. I don't want to have another thing that I'm sort of partly participating in, but not really participating in, or I'm not a great poster. I think there's some kind of unwritten law that you're supposed to post every day, or that will never happen. But it's fun, and I have my I designed it through Instagram in the same way anybody can, where the only comments I can get on my feed are from people that I follow, because I'm not going to answer everybody's question or everybody's comment. So I didn't want something else there in my life that was going uncompleted at the end of the day. And that's how it works for me, and I'm able to post things that are funny or interesting to me and might be interesting to you, and it's, you know, so it's been a folly for me. But then moments like this happen, and I'm able to say, hey, you people that might follow me, I'm doing this really rad thing and I'm with this organization and it's really important to me, and check it out. So that's where I do see the true value of social media. And I know for, say, my niece, for example, who's an actor and 28 years old and remarkable, her social media is very different, and it's really motivating, and it's very much about her interests and the things that she's doing, and she has a lot more followers than I ever will. So I think that's, but it should be fun. These things just get taken so seriously, and then we start taking things to heart, and it goes back to what Michelle was saying. I mean, I remember the first time I got a really, really bad review, and it was the only time. That's a joke. But I took it to such heart, and I realized I'd never taken any positive thing written about me inside myself so deeply. And if I couldn't create that balance of taking them equally, then I shouldn't invite them into my mind. And so I don't read reviews. I sort of ask for, like, what's the temperature of reviews? And that's all I really need to know. So I think it's the same with any of this stuff. Like, you just sort of, you need to utilize it where it's positive and then leave it alone when it starts to become something that is toxic.
And so for all of our And for all of our 200 Obama leaders here today from all over the Asia-Pacific region, here because you're doing incredible, impactful things in your villages, communities, your countries. But I think a lot of the leaders are inspired by your roots, Mrs. Obama, and President Obama, as good neighbors, community organizers, and advocates from all those years ago. And so if we could rewind a little before the Obama Foundation, before the stage, when it was just an idea or a thought in your minds, how has your story, your own personal stories, influenced what you want the Obama Foundation to be?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, public service, the work that you all do, the work that we do, is selfish. It is selfish because it brings me joy. And I learned that when I was younger, because before I left the practice of law, before I met my husband, because actually he was the first person in my life, one of the first people who made me think about my life differently. Until then, I described myself as a box checker, right? I did what I thought I was supposed to do, because probably as a working class kid from the south side of Chicago, my vision of what I could be was fairly limited. My family was a family of carpenters and jitney cab drivers and postal workers and a few teachers here or there. That's what I knew. So as a smart kid with ambition, then I had to shape a vision where I understood that education was important. I knew that I needed to get good grades and I needed to go to good schools and be something that sounded fine. That was my thinking. And that led me to Harvard Law School and practicing at a firm. And when I got there, at the end of this checkbox rainbow, there was no pot of gold. I hated it. Because I'd spent no time thinking about what I cared about, right? Because that's kind of sometimes what school gets you doing. The path of doing right makes you just go along. And I picked law because I got a good response from other people when I said I wanted to be a lawyer. It was like, oh, okay, that's good. They like that. You could be a lawyer, a doctor. You could be a scientist maybe. There's like a handful of things you can be. And I picked one. And I got a good response from my family, but it had no reflection on what I cared about. And then I met this guy, Barack Obama, that was like fluttering all over the world, and he was a community organizer. It's like, what's that? What does that mean to help other people? You mean you were working in my city, you were from Hawaii, but you were working on the far south side of Chicago in a community I didn't even know it really existed, and you're making change? And all I'm doing is driving a Saab, making a lot of money. Well, I need to explore myself. So with some changes and some rethinking, I've started, working for the government. I ran a nonprofit, and with every job, I made less money, which very disturbed my mother. She was like, I don't really even understand your strategy here. I made less money, but I was happy, and I felt purposeful, and it made sense to me. And I loved mentoring young people. I loved working with young people. I loved helping young people see a bigger world than I saw. Because my view is like, if I couldn't see it, I'm gonna help them see it so that they can shape a bigger life for themselves. Because so many kids around the world are like me or less, right? They just only know what they see. And it's like, wow, if we can open up these minds and show kids all that they can be and all the life that they can have, wow, that's a life's work, right? So I guess that way of thinking is the beginning of the concept of the Obama Foundation. Because Barack and I had to think about, well, what are we did our time, we did our 8 years, tried to make change, did what we could, sort of the formal setting, but we're still young. And so what does it mean to continue our work? And what it didn't mean was us sitting in the seats of leadership forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. It meant us working to find a way to replace ourselves. And that's where you guys come in. Because if we can take the little bit that we learned and help you guys, and a lot of that help means that you just get to meet each other. What you'll find is that in this arena, these are nice conversations. You're going to go to some workshops. There's going to be talking, and you're going to learn some things, and we're going to learn way more from you than you learn from us. But the truth is that you all are getting to know each other. This is the community. This is a community of support that you need to do the work. And if we can help facilitate that, because we can get donors, like all the people in this room are going to write huge checks and facilitate continuing to create community among you all so that you replicate yourselves in your communities and on and on and on. Well, that's way more powerful than just Michelle or Barack Obama continuing to make good speeches and be seen and blah, 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 blah. The power comes in you multiplying yourselves around the world so that there are thousands and thousands, millions upon millions of people in communities all over the place doing good things and making change and changing the conversation and creating positive energy and telling the truth and building real sustainable work. That's how change happens, and that's the vision for the Obama Foundation.
Amazing. And so we've spoken about, to some degree, about persistence and grit and perseverance, but what about knowing when to let go? One of our leaders from the Philippines, she's asked, she says, as leaders, we know we have to fight hard for our causes and our communities, and as you've said earlier, it's a long, arduous struggle for many people, but when is it okay to let go? Because as far as I know, the world tells us letting go means you failed, and to some degree, nobody wants to fail. It's all about achieving and moving forward. And so, but there is an idea when to let go and to move on from something. And maybe some battles are not worth fighting.
Well, but that's that all or nothing mentality that we struggle with, especially in progressive communities. It's almost like if you don't win, you've lost. But the truth is that change, there are moments of victories, right? So it's not that you give up, it's when do you say that even this small victory is worth it? So you are not going, so accept the fact that you may not see any results from the work you're doing in your lifetime. Just assume just assume that what you're doing isn't going to help you, maybe not even your kids, but it's going to help your grandkids and your great-grandkids and your great-great-grandkids. I mean, that's how our parents were taught. My father didn't hold down a job at the city for all of his life because he was happy about it. No, what he understood that his investment in that crappy job that he had, getting up every day and going to work, wasn't for him, it was for me. He did it for me. So if my father had the attitude of, I'm not happy, I'm not making a lot of money, I don't own my own house, so I'm just gonna quit, right? I would not be here. I am his legacy. So the thing I want you all to understand is that every issue you're working on is worth it. It just may be your expectation of what change looks like is a long-term view. So you're putting down markers. Everything you're doing in the life of somebody that you're working with is putting down a marker. And if your goal of success is that, nope, we gotta win, then you'll be disappointed. That's where we don't get anywhere, It requires compromise. Change is always incremental, And if you don't accept that and can't accept that in this work, then why bother? But how do we make change if we don't do it bit by bit by bit by bit? We're still not where we need to be in the United States of America when it comes to race. People thought electing Barack Obama would end racism. That's 400 years of stuff that was gonna be eliminated because 8 years of this kid from Hawaii? Are you kidding me? We planted a marker. We made a change. We created a vision of a different thing. Did we fix everything in 8 years? No. Were we ever going to? No. Who thought that that's how change happens? Where do we get that from? So I want you all to get that out of your heads, because you might as well give up now. If you think you need to win, if that's why you're doing this is to win and not to be a part of a bigger, longer solution, then go make money. That's how you win. Just make a lot of money. And then you can measure it and say, I won, and I guarantee you that won't make you happy. You'll just have numbers. I don't know. I could go on and on. Starting to rant. Julia, stop me.
Well, it's so good, and it really does, because we've had longer conversations about this kind of thing, and it is hard. You want to have the victory, you want to have the success, you want to be able to, put something down and say, we did this. But every day, just because you can't hold it in your hand, every day you do have something that you can say, we did this, I did this. And going back to the beginning, if it's just that conversation with a young person or with each other after all this, because I'm sure you'll have a lot to talk about when you walk out of these doors, just to have the depth and the truth, and to really look at each other when you have those conversations and believe in each other and encourage each other. Those are the victories. Those are the incremental things that you can mark and say, okay, I made a new friend, or someone told me something that is going to make me better at my job tomorrow. Those are the markers. Those are the little things, because it's not going to be the big parade. They go, oh yeah, we're going to throw you a parade. This is what you did. That's great. That won't happen unless you're an astronaut.
And now that doesn't even happen.
It doesn't
we were
happen
talking
anymore.
about that. We were talking there. Your friend was in the moon. He was in space.
He was in space. I went to high school with a boy who was an astronaut. He went to space.
Like, where's his parade?
Yeah.
He was in space for like 100 days.
For a long time. Yeah.
You don't even know what's his name. Let's just give him some credit.
Shane Kimbrough.
Woo!
Yeah.
Go Shane. Thank you, Shane.
And so now we are coming to the end of our session. It's been a quick 1 hour. I know you would want it to go on forever, all day, right? As a closing question to our 200 Obama leaders here, individuals who have so much power that they hold, can we talk a little bit about the kind of the right kind of leadership our world desperately needs right now that we may not be getting, and how individuals like these individuals here today can start small, right? We talk about starting small but thinking big, how they can play that role in their lives. It's a big question.
Yeah. Ethics, asking Americans about ethics right now. Yeah, just let it wash over you. Yeah. You know, I mean, I think that my way of thinking is very small in a beautiful way. And I think that nobody would be here if they didn't have integrity and a heart compass and a moral compass. You wouldn't be in this room if you didn't have those things. And there are the bigger things in the world that try to wear those things out or spin those compasses where you can't see where north is anymore. And it's just being there for one another. That we're fortunate enough to have moments like this where we have a person like this that reminds us of all the things that we stand for and that we are doing properly in the world. And again, I guess it's the little, you can't think that, you know, one gesture is going to change an entire system or an entire culture, but it can change the space that you're in. And that's why I'm in it, is just to change the space, to be part of the change, to benefit from the change that's around me. And, you know, that's all. Just, and keep your fingers crossed. That always helps me. But that's what it is. It's the little delicious tiny things of truth. Just be honest as much as you can all the time, and surround yourself with people who want to hear the truth, and then together you make the bigger truth.
That's so.
Thank you. And finally, Mrs. Obama.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. I mean, you each know what's right. Most people do. That's why these rooms feel good, because you go out there in the big bad world and you see people stumbling and, you know, doing things wrong or not following the rules and getting away with it, and it feels unfair, and, you know, justice, sometimes it feels absent in this world. And, you know, but these moments remind us of the truth of humanity, is that most people are waking up every day really trying to do the right thing. That's why the world works, right? Because if it were that chaotic, nothing would be happening. But most people, you know, if you hold fast to the belief that people are fundamentally good, which is what I try to do. I just try to block out the noise of all the things that we see that are going wrong, and to remember that fundamentally people are waking up in the morning, trying to do the right thing, loving their families, going to work, trying to be productive, loving thy neighbor. They are following those tenets in life. This reminds us of that we're not alone, that the world isn't always that big and bad. It can be mean at times, and it can be unfair. But all you can do every day is wake up and live by the values that you were taught by your parents. You know, be honest, tell the truth, you know, operate from truth. Know your history, understand the context of the world. That's important for the work you do. You have to know what happened in order to know how to go forward, not to make the same mistakes. So history and context are important. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Empathize, you know, for even your worst enemies. Put yourself in their shoes. Understand what they're afraid of, what makes them mad, what motivates them. You know that for yourself. And live life with compassion, you know? Just be compassionate. Those are all the things that your parents taught you. And I have found that if I live my life by those principles, you know, then the answers come. But as Julia said, I don't think you guys need that lecture, because you're here in this room and you're doing hard work. So trust your gut, and don't get discouraged. because we can't afford for you to be discouraged. You're next up. We're tapping out and we're tapping you in. And what we want you to do is lead with compassion. When you do lead, do that favor for us. Replicate the values that you feel here in the work that you do, in the staff that you manage, in the people that you encourage. Stay high. Stay high. Because going low never works. It never does. But you all know that, and that's why we're investing in you. So good luck, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much for sharing your truth with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have to say, sitting up here on the stage with the bright, shiny lights, both of your smiles, they really light up the room. And your energy that comes through, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. Thank you so much for being a beacon to people all over the world and for spotlighting others. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Michelle Obama and Julia Roberts.